Hey, it's Jen Mack, Lady of the Mind. Welcome to Life Mastery Decoded for women and women entrepreneurs, where I help you decode the struggles in your life in the areas of health, wealth, and relationships with mind mastery and meditation tools and techniques so that you can live the life that you're proud of. Welcome to today's podcast. Hey ladies, it's Jen Mack, Lady of the Mind. Welcome to today's podcast where I am hoping to find you believing in yourself. And if you are not believing in yourself today, it is my intention that with this episode, I offer you one nugget of inspiration towards your transformation in confidence and true belief about what it is that you're capable of doing. So I sit here today, I'm working on a new offer, and I keep, if you've been listening to the last couple of podcasts, I keep talking about how I'm flip-flopping around and I'm going to offer this piece of information or this tool or this technique or this course or whatever, and I change my mind by the time I get to almost the end of the day. I change my mind and I'm thinking, you know what? That's not going to work. People aren't going to like that, or they're not going to want it, or I'm not even that interested in sharing it. But what's really happening, and as you already know, we've talked about this several times too, is that everything is energy. And as everything is energy, we are absorbing this type of energy in our metaphysical system, in our energetic system. And some of it as a low vibration energy gets stuck and lodged in our system. And then we're not able to move through the process of leveling up our lives without doing something to get rid of that stuck energy. So have you ever tried to do something, you're trying to move forward, you're trying to leave a relationship, you're trying to lose weight, reach a goal, level up your business, make more money, leave a job, whatever your thing is, and then you kind of feel this, it's like this imaginary wall that gets in front of you and you're like, I just can't get through the wall. I can't move around it. I just get frustrated. I come up against it and I can't get through it. I've started this goal and I'm never able to achieve it. Now that's been happening to me for a freaking long time. And I would say it's about 10 years, maybe 11. When I started out as a personal trainer trying to get into the fitness business, I had a really successful personal training. Actually, it was a boot camp business where I had a group of women and it was really cool. It was an outdoor boot camp. And I had a group of women that I left the gym and I took all my clients with me and we went outside. And so now we're doing this workout. It's an hour long and we're outside in different areas in our community. And so it was a 4-week, they could pay monthly. It was a 4-week class and 4 days a week for an hour. And each week we were at a different location. The first week we were out somewhere flat ground in the grass. The second week we were either working hills or we were at the beach. The third week was the same, either hills or the beach, just opposite of what we did the week before. And then the final week we did assessments and we were back in the grass. And it was such a great idea and such a great concept. And I was really successful at it. And then I told you that I had taken that business and gone inside and a couple of different places. And one of the places that it was like, I didn't rent from someone else or with someone else. And I went in on my own and it was awful. And it was a terrible experience, but I learned a lot from it. But it was really hard for me to come back from that, because that experience lodged itself into my energy system and it prevented me from taking very big risks after that. So what I had to do and what I had to learn is that all of those experiences get energy attached to it, however we interpret that experience. And I interpreted that experience and I took it personal. I mean, it was my experience, right? It was my choice to go inside. I had no idea what I was doing. I didn't have all the money to cover expenses. I ended up flip-flopping around and basically became like paralyzed with fear about moving forward. And I ended up leaving the building like 4 months later and obviously going out on my rent, not going out. I mean, I talked to the landlord but anyway, I had to leave. I had to, cancel the contract. And it was very embarrassing and it was a very dark time for me. So, but what I'm saying is that experience got interpreted into my mind and my belief system that I was not smart enough to be in business. So therefore, I kind of quit. Like I didn't keep my boot camp business going. I couldn't be inside. I just kept kind of rehearsing the belief in my head that I'm just not smart enough to be in business. And I ended up, going back and getting a job, and then I got another job and a different job, and I just kept switching jobs because I'm not meant to have a job, a 9-to-5 job. It's just not ingrained. It's not my thing. I am supposed to be an entrepreneur. I'm supposed to have freedom. I'm supposed to go out and change the world. That is the flame that is lit inside me. And I realized in this journey back in 2013 that there are these things called limiting beliefs. And they are typically all funneled down into what we call, I'm not enough. I'm not smart enough, good enough, sexy enough, pretty enough, girly enough, I don't know, whatever, enough. I don't have enough money. I don't have enough skill, something enough, right? And then I learned this process to what we call de-energize that belief. And what I love to call is liberate yourself from this belief. Free yourself from the belief that you're not good enough. Because how can we possibly have success in our life if we don't feel like we're good enough? And if we are going around believing that, what kind of success are we going to have? I'm not good enough to have a happy, healthy relationship. Well, then you're probably not going to have one. I'm not good enough or smart enough to make $500,000 a year. Well, then you're probably not going to. I'm not smart enough to get a degree. I'm not capable enough to land that type of job or become a manager in my current position, or good enough, smart enough, rich enough to get that car or get that house, right? So what do? As I'm sitting here creating this next portion, as I'm trying to tap into this online market, there's so many pieces to the puzzle, and I am constantly facing, I'm not smart enough. And I then have to stop, and I have to look, and I have to reassess what I'm telling myself. And I created an intentions booklet. And that intentions booklet not only helps to combat the beliefs that are stuck in my system, which I have to release, and I can feel the momentum start to pick up again. I'm like, okay, I released the limiting belief, and I'm like, all right, I got forward momentum. And then I get my intentions booklet out and I read my intentions, which keeps the forward momentum going. And it keeps me kind of proactive in my life. And I love to be proactive, but it takes some mental effort. It takes some mental awareness to keep yourself in this present moment so you can be active in your life. You can be proactive instead of reactive. If I'm reactive in my life, then I'm just kind of taking anything that's coming at me. And if I'm proactive, then I am purposefully creating what I want in my life. And if I keep stopping myself and saying, I'm not smart enough, I'm not good enough, I'm not strong enough, I'm not whatever enough, I'm stopping myself. So I use these tools on a daily basis. I have to be present. I have to be in this moment. I have to be proactive. I have to use these tools on a daily basis. That is when shifts start happening. That's when things start getting more and more exciting. You have to look at your week and say, okay, today's Friday or Saturday, and I'm going to move my life forward in this way because this is the goal I'm trying to achieve. So as I'm looking at these pieces of this puzzle that I'm putting together and trying to create this free offer to help de-energize limiting beliefs or liberate yourself from these limiting beliefs. And I look at these pieces and I go, this is the most important thing that we all should know. If you are fine to just react to your life around you and kind of like what I call like living in a cloud, and it's just life. I'm just here and I'm just kind of moving through life and I'm just fine with my house and my car and my kids and my job, then you're fine. But if you're actually wanting some excitement and adventure and some fun, being proactive is where it's at. And you will find that as you are expanding, you will be coming up against those emotional walls. And those emotional walls is what keeps us in that comfort zone. And expansion is outside of the comfort zone. Remember, our comfort zone is like a hula hoop that we're standing inside, and it doesn't give us much freedom. And what I'm suggesting is that we expand our hula hoop. If we make it twice the size, what do we have to go through to be able to expand our comfort zone, thus expanding our human experience? Well, we have to de-energize or liberate ourselves from the beliefs that limit us, saying anything that I'm not good enough, because those are the beliefs that we picked up along the way as children. And as students, when our teachers and our peers said things that made us not feel good enough, they didn't accept us for who we are in that moment, or they said something or did something that gave us the belief that we're not good enough. And then we keep it, and it becomes part of who we are. If you believe something long enough, it becomes part of your existence. Our whole entire world is made up of beliefs. That is everything. I believe that I'm standing here in this living room, pacing back and forth, talking to you on this podcast. I believe that occasionally as I try to push my business forward, I'm constantly expanding my comfort zone. I always come up to, I'm not smart enough. Well, then I have to de-energize it again. My expansion is constantly being challenged. And as an entrepreneur and as a woman who is seeking freedom, I am constantly challenging those beliefs. And there's an easy way to do that. And that easy way to do that is to become aware that it's a belief. Everything is a belief, everything. Everything that you think, everything that you do, your whole entire life experience is a belief, because everything is energy and you are just interpreting that energy around you. When there's an experience in the world, something happens, you attach an emotion to that something, and then you have a response. Now, it could be good, bad, sometimes neutral. As you're just listening to this episode, you might be neutral about what I'm saying. Or I might say something like, have you ever felt that you're not pretty enough? Your friends are going out, this guy, you want to ask this guy out on a date, you want to go somewhere, you want to deepen your connections, and then somewhere in there you look in the mirror and you're like, I'm just not pretty enough. That is simply a belief. And if you can open your mind enough to recognize that that thought is only a belief, and we've talked about changing our minds, right? And as women, how many times can we change our mind about something? I don't know about you, but I change my mind about 400,000 times a day. And I used to say, when I had my boot camp, I used to say, I can change my mind anytime I want because I'm a woman and I'm the teacher. And I was pretty flexible about things. Like I'd be like, okay, this is the exercise we're going to do. Never mind, we're not doing that. We're going to do this instead. I would make an entire plan for some Tuesday afternoon. We're going to do abs. I'd get there on Tuesday and I'm like, forget it. We're doing something different. I don't know why I spent all that time making plans. Most of it was off the hip. But as we have these beliefs that create our existence, you can stand in any point in time and say, what do I believe about this? I want to move forward in my relationship with my spouse. What stops me from doing that? What prevents me from taking my relationship and going deeper? There's a belief there. You could expand your awareness on money. What do I believe about money? What if I were to say that you have a belief that keeps you limited of the income that you're making right now? So if you're making 40, 50, 60 grand a year, that's a belief. You're at a belief ceiling. And if I were to say a year from now, you could be making double that, what is the first thought that just came to your mind? Was it something like, no, I can't because my industry doesn't pay any more than that? No, I can't because the company I work for doesn't have any more money to pay me. I've asked for a raise. I'm at my ceiling. The county or community or town that I live in, they don't pay very much for this particular type of job. If I lived in a bigger city, but I can't move because I can't afford it. I mean, there's a whole list. There's a whole list of things that you probably just thought in an instant that said, I can't double my income in a year. And what if I said, yes, you can. You can double your income in a year. You could triple your love life in a year. You could have more of something, whatever the something is. You could have another house in a different country. You could, well, if we're traveling to a different country, you could have kids. I was working with a girl that we met at one of our expos last year. No, actually the year before. It's been 2 years now since we've been to an expo, seems like, or a full year. Anyway, and she came in and she spent most of her time talking to Amy about how her and her husband were trying to have kids. And they were doing all of this fertility treatment, and things weren't working. She wasn't getting pregnant. And I had done a couple of coachings with her, lots of text messages, lots of Facebook messaging, and coaching, and really trying to change her belief about getting pregnant. The only thing that stopped her from getting pregnant was her belief about getting pregnant. Now, that might blow your mind a little bit, but it is true. I believe in the power of our belief system, because it's our belief system that creates our life experience. So I spent a couple of times coaching her, and then I spent a couple of times encouraging her to act as if she was going to have a baby. So, have you worked on the nursery? No, because I can't get pregnant. Okay. So you're telling the universe that you don't want a baby. Oh, I do want a baby. Okay. Well, let's pretend you're pregnant. What would you be doing? Well, we'd be cleaning out that extra bedroom. We would paint it. We would get a crib. We would get the paint, change the carpet, decorate the room, whatever you do to have a baby, right? And I said, okay, so here's your homework for the next couple of months, while she was going through all this fertility treatment and going to, I don't know what the whole process is, but it's kind of timely. And I said, so in the next couple of months before this next step happens, that's what I want you to do. I want you to focus on getting that room ready. Don't do it with doubt. Do it with confidence. We de-energize the limiting belief about her getting pregnant. So now she's like, oh my God, I totally feel like I could get pregnant like tomorrow. And I'm like, great, go decorate that room. And they did. They cleaned it out. They changed the carpet. They painted the room. They decorated. They bought a crib. And you know what I'm about to say. She's now currently pregnant, and I believe she's due like in May of this year. Now, before that, it was like, I don't know, a couple of years where they couldn't get pregnant. Like a couple of years. But I worked on her belief system about her getting pregnant, about her receiving the joy of pregnancy and giving birth. That's what they wanted. They wanted a family. But you have to act as if it's going to happen. Here's another example. I worked with a client, this was a long time ago. I worked with a client who wanted to date. She wanted to have a partner. She wanted to have a boyfriend. She's a little bit older. She's like 45 at the time. She wanted to have a partner. Dude, well, what are you doing to act as if you are getting a partner? We have to de-energize. She's like, I'm not wanting the partners that I've had in the past because that sucked. I've been single for a very long time and I don't want to deal with that anymore. I don't want to deal with, the running around and the playing, like dating these guys that were just like players. And she's like, I want a partner. I want a soulmate. I want someone that I could truly call my best friend and like trust to all ends of the earth, and we enjoy each other. Okay. So what do I say? Well, tell me about what you're doing in your house. She goes, what do you mean? And I said, well, for example, do you have a room in your house for a partner? She's like, oh my God, no. She's like, my closet, my garage, my everything is completely stuffed full and whatever. I said, so you're not letting the energy of another person into your house. She goes, well, what do you mean by that? And I said, well, in order to welcome another person into your house, you need to make room for them. So that means you need to make room in your closet. You need to make room in your garage for their car. You need to make room in their kitchen for more pots and pans. You need to make room in the bed. Like, how do you sleep in the bed? Do you sleep to one side? Do you sleep diagonally? How do you sleep? She goes, I sleep in the middle. So you're not even making room in the bed for this intimate relationship. Well, she's thinking, crap, I got a king size bed. Why would I sleep on one side? I sleep anywhere I want. Sometimes I sleep sideways. Okay. Little bit of coaching. I am enough. I am worthy. I am worthy of having this partner. I'm worthy of having this relationship. And then what? She had to have her cable fixed. A very young, not young, but a middle-aged man, single, comes to the house. They get to talking. Next thing you know, they go on a date. Next thing you know, they're building the relationship. They're building the friendship. They're hanging out on the weekends. And it happened in like a matter of weeks because we were able to let go of the belief that was limiting. We were able to unkink the hose. You have to unkink the hose. You have to let go. You have to let go of the belief that's limiting you. And we all have to do it. We have, I couldn't even tell you how many, hundreds of thousands of beliefs about any given circumstance and experience. And probably the more experiences you have, the more limiting beliefs you have. Because the more you've been around, the more you've seen things, and then you've interpreted those things and you've attached an emotion to it. You now have a belief about it. And that belief could be empowering or it could be limiting you. And if you have limiting beliefs, which we all do, but if you're not de-energizing them and you're really wanting to move your life forward, then we have to talk. We have to talk about how we can move that limiting belief on so you can achieve the goal that you want. This is your time to have a human experience. We don't know if we get to come back and try it again. We don't know for absolute sure. Nobody knows for 100%. There are people out there who believe 100% and that they've gone or they've, practiced or done like past lives regression. I believe that it's possible because I've seen some crazy things and I believe it's possible, but I can't be 100% sure that I'm going to remember even coming back next time. So I want to enjoy the experience I have now while I'm here on this planet. And in order to do that, I need to be able to let some of these beliefs go. In order for me to have a successful business and do the things that I want to do, bring my business and my ideas and my programs to the market, I have to believe that I'm smart enough to do that. And anytime I hit that ceiling, I have to tell myself, it's just a belief. I can double my income every single year for the rest of my life. I can deepen my relationship every single day for the rest of my life. I can have these wonderful, fantastic, joyful experiences on this planet every day for the rest of my life. Because I can believe that, I can make that happen. And so I'm asking you today to just look at your life and say, what area do you want to improve? Even if it's just a teeny tiny little bit. And you can state a goal out loud. Just say it out loud. It's okay. Say it out loud. This is what I want. I want to lose this many pounds. I want to get a house in this state. I want to have kids, or I want to get a new job, or I want to be promoted in the job I've got. I want to double my income. Whatever it is, say it out loud and feel if you have any limiting belief about that thing. And just see what is stopping you. And then I would love to have you over in our community, in our Facebook group that is Life Mastery Decoded, where we talk about all of these things. My desire, I intend, I'm going to say the intention. I intend for our group and our community to continue to grow in numbers. By the end of the year, I intend to see 1,000 women in that group that we can talk, we can help each other, we can support one another, building our online community of women and women entrepreneurs who want to build the life that they are proud to live. That is my goal. And will you help me out? If you're listening to this podcast, come over to the group. Maybe you're driving, I don't know, make a mental note, put it in your phone and your calendar to remind you to go to the Facebook group and just share with us the topic that you might be struggling with, the area that you want to improve your life. And then what beliefs do you have behind that? and then we get rid of that belief, that is like cleaning out the closet. You just, wow, you stand back and you're like, it's gone. Like the cobwebs are gone and the old stuff is gone. And look at how much nicer this looks and how much nicer it feels. That's how it feels to remove a limiting belief. And then from there, you are free to go in that direction. You're free to live. We liberate you from that limiting belief. So check it out. Check out the page. Come on over. Let's hear what limiting belief you have, and let's help you level up your life. If you like this episode, please tell your friends and join our Facebook communities. Life Mastery Decoded is the personal development group where we get together to discuss episodes, content, and share our struggles and successes. If you are more focused on business, then this group will be your cup of tea, the Wealthy Woman Entrepreneur Networking Group. I created a true networking environment to share our business products, services, as well as talk about marketing and support one another. I look forward to hanging out with you.